Hello, lovely learners, and welcome back to the JISH Learn English podcast. I'm Shaylin, and I'm so happy you're here with me today. Have you ever found yourself in a room full of people, yet completely absorbed in your phone, scrolling through other people's lives? Or maybe you felt the opposite, a deep sense of closeness during a late-night video call with someone far away. Today, we're exploring a question that touches all of us. Does social media genuinely bring us together, or is it slowly pushing us apart? This is a B2-C1 level listening and speaking practice episode. We're going to listen to two friends, Mia and David, having a conversation about this. Then, together, we'll unpack the advanced vocabulary, natural collocations, and sentence structures so you can speak about this topic with nuance, depth, and confidence. Let's jump into their conversation.
David, I don't know, man. I'm almost embarrassed to admit this, 45 minutes just scrolling, and now I feel, hollow. You ever get that?
Every single night before I fall asleep, if I'm being honest with you. It's practically a ritual at this point. But I also had this moment yesterday. My cousin in Spain, she posted this video of her little girl taking her first steps, and I swear I felt a lump in my throat. I was right there in that moment, despite being an ocean apart. So I don't know, it's complicated, right?
No, I get that. I do. Those moments they're precious, genuinely. Seeing a milestone like that in real time, that's the good side. The part that really does bridge the geographical divide. And hear me out on this.
Okay, I'm listening. But what?
Don't you think those moments are carefully chosen, though? It's a curated peek. It's not the full, messy picture. Last Saturday, I'm on my couch, same position as now, and I see a story. 4 of my closest friends at a birthday dinner, laughing, clinking glasses. I wasn't invited, and the pang I felt, it wasn't just, oh, that's a shame. It was visceral, a genuine physical ache of exclusion. In that moment, with all those happy faces on my screen, I felt profoundly, deeply alone, more than if I'd never known about it.
Ooh, yeah, that hits home. And honestly, I think a lot of people understand that feeling more than they admit. That's the highlight reel versus your quiet, unpolished reality, isn't it? The comparison trap. But see, I wonder, is that the platform's fault? Or is it, and I'm asking genuinely, is it how we're engaging with it? Because for me, my book club community online, Mia, I've never met these people face to face, but I've disclosed things there, personal struggles, that I'd hesitate to bring up with people I see every day. We fostered something real, a genuine sense of intellectual and emotional support.
Okay, that's fair, and I'm not dismissing that. Finding your tribe, wherever they are, that's valuable, genuinely. But doesn't that comfort sometimes, I don't know, slip into becoming an echo chamber where everyone keeps reinforcing the same opinions? And slowly, you lose that healthy friction of someone disagreeing with you face to face. My bigger worry, honestly, is about depth versus breadth. I have all these contacts, followers, connections. My network is wide, embarrassingly wide, maybe, but my actual support system, the people I could call at 3 a.m. without feeling like a burden, it's narrow, painfully narrow. The quantity of our interactions has gone through the roof, but the quality, that profound intimacy, I think it's quietly diminished.
Wide but not deep. That's a sobering way to put it. And maybe some people listening have felt that too at some point. But I'd push back just a bit. Can't the shallow interaction be the spark? Let me give you an example. A few years ago, I reconnected with an old university friend. Started with the most trivial thing. She liked a photo of my cat. Seriously. Then a nostalgic comment, then a DM, then a 4-hour catch-up call. Without that initial digital nudge, that tiny, seemingly insignificant interaction, that reconnection wouldn't exist. She's now one of my closest confidants. So for me, it was a bridge. It amplified a connection that would have stayed dormant forever.
Okay, that's a beautiful story. It really is. And it perfectly makes my point for me, actually. It's not the tool, it's the intent behind it, right? You used it as a springboard for authentic, real-world connection. That's brilliant. But when it becomes a substitute for it, that's where the insidious loneliness creeps in. I've started doing this thing. I call it my digital sunset. Friday evening to Monday morning, I log out completely. The first few hours, David, I'm not going to lie, it's unsettling. I feel this phantom limb, like my hand keeps reaching for a phone that isn't there, this restless, twitchy urge. And honestly, that's when you realize how automatic these habits have become.
A digital sunset. I don't know if I have that discipline, Mia, but the phantom limb analogy, that's spot on. It shows you how deeply these platforms have rewired us, our attention, our reward systems. But here's where I'm landing on all this, and tell me if this resonates. I think we need to stop asking, is social media good or bad? That's too binary. I think it's an amplifier. It magnifies what's already there. If you're prone to social anxiety, it can become a convenient crutch, deepening isolation. If you're proactive, if you're intentional, it becomes a tool for unprecedented global intimacy. It's not inherently anything, it's reflective. The real question isn't what social media does to us, it's what we're doing to ourselves through it.
That's exceptionally well put. An amplifier. Not the root cause, but a magnifier. I think the first step is just self-awareness, naming that hollow, drained feeling after an hour of mindless scrolling. Because when you name it, it loses some of its power over you. We're mistaking the illusion of connection for genuine nourishment. You know what it's like?
Tell me.
It's like you're craving a proper home-cooked meal, something that'll sustain you. And instead, you eat a whole bag of candy. It feels like something for a fleeting moment. It's sweet, it's a sensation, but it doesn't nourish you. And somehow you end up hungrier than when you started.
The candy analogy, that's perfect. A fleeting moment of sweetness but zero sustenance. Here's to more real meals then, and fewer bags of candy.
I'll drink my tea to that.
Wasn't that an incredibly honest conversation? And honestly, this is how real advanced English often sounds. People don't speak in perfectly organized textbook sentences. They pause, rethink ideas, interrupt themselves, soften opinions, and speak emotionally. Mia and David weren't just discussing social media. They were exploring loneliness, connection, habits, validation, and emotional well-being. So now let's slowly unpack some of the beautiful language they used, because there were so many natural expressions in this conversation that can immediately improve the way you express complex thoughts in English. Right at the beginning, Mia said she felt hollow after scrolling on her phone. Hollow means emotionally empty inside, almost like something is missing. It's deeper than simply saying sad or tired. For example, someone might say, after the party ended, I suddenly felt hollow inside. And honestly, many people probably recognize that strange, empty feeling after spending too much time online without really connecting to anything meaningful. Then David said, I felt a lump in my throat. This is a very natural idiom in emotional conversations. A lump in your throat is that tight feeling you get when you're deeply moved emotionally, sometimes before crying, sometimes from happiness, nostalgia, or sadness. For example, when I saw my parents after 2 years, I got a lump in my throat. Notice how much more human and emotional this sounds than simply saying, I became emotional. Then Mia used a really sophisticated expression. She said social media can bridge the geographical divide. The verb bridge means connect two separated things, and divide means separation or distance. So if something bridges a divide, it reduces the distance between people, ideas, or communities. For example, technology helps bridge cultural divides, or video calls bridge bridge the distance between families living abroad. This expression sounds thoughtful and extremely natural in discussions about communication. She also described social media as a curated peak. Now, this is beautiful modern vocabulary. The verb curate originally comes from museums and art galleries, where experts carefully choose what people will see. Online, a curated life means people carefully select which moments to show publicly, and a peek means a quick look. So a curated peek means we're only seeing a carefully selected glimpse of somebody's life, not the complete reality behind it. Then Mia described a visceral ache of exclusion. Now, this is very powerful emotional English. First, a pang or ache is a sharp emotional pain, and visceral means deeply physical, emotional, instinctive, something you feel in your gut, not just in your thoughts. So when she says a visceral ache of exclusion, she means the feeling of being left out affected her deeply on an emotional and almost physical level. Together, those words create a very strong emotional image. David then talked about the highlight reel versus your quiet, unpolished reality. A highlight reel is a collection of only the best moments, originally from sports videos. Online, people mostly share achievements, vacations, celebrations, beautiful photos, their highlights. Meanwhile, your unpolished reality includes boring days, struggles, loneliness, stress, insecurity, all the ordinary parts of life people usually don't post online. And honestly, this comparison trap is something many people experience without even realizing it. Then David said something really important. We've fostered something real. The verb foster means to gradually develop or encourage something carefully over time. You can foster relationships, trust, creativity, confidence, or community. For example, good communication fosters healthy relationships. It sounds warmer and more emotionally meaningful than simply saying create. Mia then introduced the term echo chamber. This is an extremely important modern expression. An echo chamber is an environment where people mostly hear opinions that already match their own beliefs. Different perspectives slowly disappear, and the same ideas keep getting repeated again and again. You could say, social media algorithms often create echo chambers, or it's healthy to occasionally step outside your echo chamber and hear different viewpoints. She also made a really thoughtful contrast between depth and breadth. She said her network was wide but not deep. Breadth means quantity or range. Depth means emotional closeness and meaning. So someone may know hundreds of people online but still lack genuine emotional intimacy in real life. And honestly, I think many adults today quietly relate to that feeling. Then David used a fantastic conversational phrase, I'd push back just a bit. To push back means to disagree or challenge an idea politely and thoughtfully. Native speakers use this constantly in respectful discussions. Instead of saying, you're wrong, people often soften disagreement by saying, I'd push back on that a little, or can I push back slightly here? It makes conversations sound more mature and collaborative. David also talked about a digital nudge that helped him reconnect with an old friend. A nudge is a small push or gentle encouragement. And then he said social media amplified a connection that would have stayed dormant. Amplify means strengthen or intensify. Dormant means inactive or sleeping. So he means the friendship already existed emotionally, but social media helped reactivate and strengthen it. Then Mia introduced one of the most memorable expressions in the entire conversation, her digital sunset. I love this because it's creative, natural language. Advanced speakers often create expressions like this to communicate emotions more vividly. Her digital sunset means intentionally disconnecting from technology for a period of time. And then she described feeling a phantom limb when reaching for her phone automatically. A phantom limb is when someone still feels a missing body part after losing it. Here, she's using it metaphorically to describe how automatic and deeply wired phone habits have become. David later said something incredibly insightful. Social media is an amplifier. Again, amplify means magnify or intensify something already there. He explained that if someone already struggles with insecurity or loneliness, social media may intensify those feelings. But if someone uses it intentionally, it can strengthen meaningful relationships too. And this is why he called the question too binary. Binary thinking means seeing something as only good or bad, black or white, with no middle ground. And finally, Mia gave that beautiful candy analogy at the end. She said scrolling online can feel like eating candy when what you truly need is a nourishing meal. Notice the vocabulary there. Fleeting means lasting for only a short time. Nourish means emotionally or physically support healthy growth. Sustenance means real nourishment and support. So she's saying social media sometimes gives temporary emotional stimulation without providing genuine emotional fulfillment. And honestly, through this conversation, you weren't just learning vocabulary, you were learning how advanced English speakers express emotional nuance, soften disagreement, explain psychological experiences, build thoughtful arguments, and reflect deeply on modern life in a natural way. All right, now that we've unpacked the language and ideas behind the conversation, let's quickly bring everything together before we finish today's episode. So today, we explored two very honest perspectives on social media. Mia worried that social media can increase comparison, emotional exhaustion, and loneliness. David focused more on the opportunities it creates, the ability to reconnect with people, maintain relationships across distance, and build meaningful communities online. And by the end of the conversation, they arrived at a balanced conclusion. Maybe social media itself isn't completely good or completely bad. Maybe the real difference comes down to how consciously and intentionally we use it. And through their discussion, you learned powerful natural expressions like bridge the geographical divide, highlight reel, echo chamber, push back, phantom limb, amplify, and a curated peak. Now, I genuinely love to hear your thoughts. Do you think social media mostly strengthens relationships, or does it quietly make people feel more isolated over time? And why? Try to answer in the comments using some of today's vocabulary and expressions. Even a short response helps you practice expressing deeper ideas naturally in English. And if you enjoyed today's episode and found it meaningful, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the JISH Learn English podcast. It really supports the channel and helps us continue building this thoughtful learning community together. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. Take care of yourself, keep learning naturally, and I'll see you all in the next episode. Bye-bye.